Hello and welcome to the magic of fishing. Today you join me in the garden, but not for too long. We'll be heading off fishing very shortly, and I'm going to a brand new venue for me where I've been told there are plenty of bream. So with slabs in mind, I'm going to knock up a really smelly but really effective ground bait. And particularly exciting for me is I get to use my new birthday present. Now it's not the cheapest of mixes because you do need a few bags from the shop, but some of these ingredients will last me half a season. And you folks know I'm not sponsored by anyone, but I do really like this red meaty salmon mix as a base for the ground bait. It's really oily and fishy and has got a really nice colour to it for bream, so the whole lot goes in a bucket. It really is like a curry spice mix, really vibrant orange. And there are plenty of manufacturers of this, but our next ingredient is some pure ground halibut pellets. Again, really oily, smelly stuff. And this is one of the ingredients that will last me a good while, because we're only going to put in a handful or two. Now, if it wasn't fish enough already, the next dry ingredient is some pure fish meal, just to pep it up that bit extra. It's not cheap stuff, but a kilogram bag like this, it'll last me the prime months of the season. It's so pungent, this stuff, and a little really does go a long way. Just give that a mix. Now for the liquids, and you may have seen me use this before. It's available online, pure bloodworm liquid. It's got a really unusual scent. It's almost a sweet sort of syrupy smell, bizarrely, but I'm going to add that to a jug of water. Just a glug will do, and we'll give that a mix. We'll use this to start wetting down the ground bait. We really are keeping the red theme here. I'm just going to start with a little. You can always add more, and we'll give it a whisk. Now, of course, you do not need a whisk or a mini drill for this. It's just something I fancied for my birthday a month or two ago, and it really does help get you a fine crumb, especially if you're mixing up a fair bit of ground bait in advance. And although you can't smell it, check that out for a vibrant colour. It's packed full of ground pellets and tiny particles, but we are going to add some pellets to it. We're sticking with a red theme and a smelly theme with these bloodworm fish meal pellets, micro size, 2 or 3 mil, and we're going to pour about 1/3 of a bag into a bait tub. And now we're going to take the stink factor up to maximum volume with a couple of really effective pungent oils. One is a proven all-round fish attractant, marine halibut oil. You can use this very sparingly, but it's got a bit of salt in it and is proven to attract most species of fish, particularly bream. Good for carp as well. And talking of carp, from the carp world, pure salmon oil. I found this to be really effective for carp fishing in the past, but more recently it's a killer additive for bream. And okay, it's not cheap, but this has lasted me years already. And we're just going to add a splash to the pellets. That's just as effective as adding it to the ground bait. And now a quick squirt of the marine. That's all you need. Give them a shake. Just make sure they're all evenly coated, and we'll leave these to soak up that oil for 5 or 10 minutes before putting it in the ground bait. Now the smell and the colour are off the charts. And one other benefit of a whisk is that for now I can keep my hands out of this stuff. So there we have it. Only one full bag of ground bait, but half a bucket full of unbelievably smelly and vibrant ground bait that is surely going to be deadly for the bream I've been told about on this lake. That's enough preparation. Let's go fishing. So welcome to Stillwater Lakes near Ash Vale, just over the Hampshire border from Surrey, and it's my first time on the venue. I'm on the front lake and there are a pair of magnificent old gravel pits, like a lot of the lakes in this area. Really broad expanse of water, and this one in particular has got some massive beds of lilies. You can just about see them over on the far side, and I'm fishing not too far from the middle of the canal bank, which is close to the Basingstoke Canal, and I've been told this is a good area for bream. Give it a good chuck out towards the lilies, and I've had a chat with a few of the carpers, most of them struggling a little bit. It is set to be a really warm sunny day. I've actually put my shorts on, and it's supposed to hit 25 degrees later, so the good sunny May that we've been enjoying, the weather seems set to continue, which is great for us anglers. Not perfect conditions for catching bream, could do with it being a bit more overcast, a bit more of a wind on the water. It's very still, as you can see, but it's a lovely venue, another stunning venue of Farnham's, and can't wait to get going. So I've set up a 12-foot Acolyte Plus feeder rod, and I'm going to chuck out a lead, have a little lead around, find a clear spot, then get the feeder on, and we'll put a few feederfuls out of that stinky ground bait and hopefully start attracting some bream. And just quickly, in terms of the tackle, we're talking 4,000 size reel, pretty heavy duty. Might use it for barbel fishing normally, and that's got 10-pound line on. That's down to a quick change feeder bead with a buffer bead and a quick change hook link swivel, 30-gram cage feeder, and that swivel's going to allow me to try different hook lengths, different hook baits. We're going to start with a couple of red maggots on a smallish hook, fish for anything, fish for bites, but I have got a bigger size 14 with a quick change spike on it, which we can use for bigger baits like pellet, or indeed meat, which I've bought quite a few cubes of, just a whole tin chopped up. I think that's a nice big visual hook bait, fits with a red or pinkish theme, and the only other bait I've brought is a couple of pints of red maggots. We'll put a bit of that through the ground bait, which as you can see is looking good from a mix this morning. And there you can see the little oil slick in amongst the ripples. It really is powerful stuff. And I can tell it's quite shallow out there by the angle of the line entering the water. The feed didn't take long to touch down at all, probably only about 4 or 5 feet maximum. But it's a beautiful day. I'm largely in the shade at the moment, but the sun is coming out, the sky's turning blue, and this little breeze, it's perfect, certainly for the angler. And it has been a very slow afternoon. The beauty of watching this at home on YouTube, you've not suffered the 3 hours it's taken to get a first bite. But I've moved a couple of pegs down to get closer to the pads. The sun has got a touch lower in the sky, and my mate Neil, who is sat not far behind me, told me to cast a bit close to the pads. So a combination of factors means we've got our first fish, and the ground bait has started to do its work. A couple of maggots on the hook, and it really did feel nice to see that tip whip round. Feels like a heavy fish, so I'm taking it slow. It really did pull round. It's a good one. It's a proper one, worth the wait. Just slacken that clutch off in case. But I think this is going to be worth the wait. Now it's woken up a bit. Let's move the net out of the way. That's a proper slab. Who said bream don't fight? We've got him. Oh, that's filled up an extra large carp landing net. Let's have a look. Okay folks, I feel like I owe you all a bit of an explanation. You might have heard me while I was playing that slab saying that I'd moved pegs, that the sun was sinking a bit lower, and it is late afternoon now and the sun is finally on me rather than into the trees, so it's really warmed up. And yeah, my mate Neil's come along to watch me fish. He's had his hip hop and he's already out on the bank after 3 weeks, which is great news. And he knows this venue, so as always when you're trying somewhere new it really helps to have expert local advice, and he suggested I move along a couple of pegs opposite where the big main central lily bed is in this pit and try chucking out even further and get close to the pads, which are a big magnet for the fish. So taking all that advice on board, that's what we've been doing for the last hour or so, and finally the tips twitched and then absolutely slammed round. And unfortunately I lost the mic when I was showing you the fish, but I can tell you it was a 7 pound 4 ounce beauty of a slab. Really nice old fish, dark, and although I was accused of playing it like a fairy with a wand by Neil at one point, it did put up a good scrap by the net and yeah, made a good account of itself. So now the sun is getting a bit lower, I've found my mark, and the smelly ground bait seems to have pulled at least one big slab out of its sanctuary in the lilies. Hopefully we're going to get some more. And there you can see the huge bed of lilies, and I'm casting out, aiming at that tree roughly, that you can see the green round tree roughly in the middle of the picture. So it's a good long chuck with a distance feed of 30 grams. And this is the distance style feeder I've switched to. Guru 30 gram number with the weight up at one end. Just a short boom, twisted boom. It's a 5 pound hook length. Same 16 forged hook and a couple of reds.
Hopefully it won't be too long before we're both sitting here catching a few.
Hope so, mate. Yeah, so Neil's now departed. He's hobbled his way back to his van at the car park. But really nice to see him up and about after his operation, and as always getting that local expert knowledge really has made a difference. Okay, only one fish so far, but what a fish. just by getting closer up to the pads than I would have thought to do. It's obviously going to be a big fish magnet, but I was thinking that might be for the carp and the bream might be more in the open water. But Neil had fished this a few times over the years and felt I needed to be much closer to the pads, so really hopeful now for the rest of the evening we might get one or two more. It's an absolutely beautiful evening. You can see the sun's just about to go below the far tree line. Still a little bit of a ripple on the surface, but it hasn't been ideal bream conditions today. Very bright, generally quite still. But I'm really not complaining when you've got a view like this. Well, it really is a special late spring evening. The days are getting longer, the nights are getting shorter, and I've really enjoyed this first trip to a new venue near Ash Vale, Stillwater, Front Lake. And although the fishing's been tough, the conditions have not been ideal for bream, that special ground bait mix has kept my confidence going all day, and it was worth persevering because a £7 plus slab in anyone's book has got to be a fish worth waiting for. And yeah, although the fishing's been tricky, it's just been another fantastic day by the water. Just goes to show you don't need to be catching lots of fish to enjoy yourself. And I hope you've enjoyed it too. As always, it's been a privilege to have you with me. And if you're not already subscribed, please do click the button below. It only takes a second, and there are plenty more videos like this. For all of you already in the club, my humble thanks as always. It's much appreciated, your ongoing support, and I'll see you again soon on the bank.